first you have to look at like, what is the pattern that I'm in my relationship? What are the things that tend to happen? It might be that no matter what you are arguing about, it feels like the same fight over and over again. There's the same pattern that you play out. No matter what the content is, the process is the same. So you want to look at, in order to identify, well, what is the cycle that I'm in? Is there a recurring argument or theme? Do you have the same fight without resolution? Here's an example. Maybe you want to really be heard. You bring up feedback and your partner gets defensive every time. Criticism and defensiveness. Maybe the pattern is that you raise your voice, one of you raises your voice, and the other person shuts down. Dr. Sue Johnson has a really nice framework that she looks at these, she calls them demon dialogues or distressing patterns that people might fall into. And these are very basic. I'm just going to give you these three, and then I'll get into some other relationship experts and how they break this down too, because there's different frameworks that you can use. But she talks about this pattern of finding the bad guy. And this is where one person will be blaming or attacking, and then the other person spends all their time trying to show that they're not the bad guy. One person cannot hear the feelings of the quote unquote blamer, or maybe they're not even blaming, but the person hears it as blame and they feel really invalidated. The person who is quote unquote the blamer feels like they're not being heard and they're being minimized, it's being dismissed. They want you just to get over it. And that makes it really hard because you feel like you're never heard. And then the defensive person also is never able to grow. And both of you then carry resentment later on. One person feels like it's never good enough. They're constantly bringing stuff up. I'm always the bad guy, and I'm just not going to do that anymore. And so now I'm not even going to hear any feedback, even if it's not an attack.